Hi, what new possibilities will you create? Today's guests will share their story and provide insight. From my network to yours, let's get to it.
It has fluoride in it. It's completely calcifying one of the most important parts of the brain, the part that perceives your entire reality. So many challenges, but I am breaking through every challenge with tycoon strength and divine wisdom. Just be positive. Nobody was like, hey, just be positive. Like, that's so important to have people there. Oh, ain't nobody gone. Slipping through dimensions. Yeah, we're switching up the time zone.
Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm loving folks that coming on. I'm loving this. Is great. Stephanie Ball is on the line. Can we say Philly, y'all?
Philly!
I love it. All right, so Stephanie, who are you?
Oh my goodness. Who am I?
Tell about yourself.
That is a question for the ages, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, my name is Stephanie Ball. It's nice to be here. So, thank you so much, Jesse, for the invitation. We're going to have a good time, I believe.
I believe we will.
I believe we're going to have a good time. And let's see, who am I? So I'm based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, or right outside of it in the suburbs. And I'm a high performance specialist and a classical singer. My background is in music. And these days I do a lot of concert curation and solo recitals and all kinds of good stuff.
True. Can I pick on you too while we chatting too?
Oh, I know.
Can I a little bit? You got a little. Are you sitting right now? Or are you sitting? Right
I am sitting down.
Are you okay? Are you still sitting? I understand.
I'm seated. I should have known too.
What I love about you. I know. Here's what I shared. Because what I love about you, you redefine people's image and perception of what an opera singer looks like. Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I pick on your height because it's fun, it's cute, but it's with intentions, right? Because you're short, it's height, but not in stature. You have a big presence when you walk around.
Well, thank you.
And people see it in your aura. But people have this. I'm sure when you tell folks like you did just now, say something about yourself, they probably hesitate. Am I wrong? Give me a little bit about that. Tell me about that experience.
When I talk about my history in opera?
Oh, yes. Soon you say opera, do people faces change?
Oh, yeah. So it's so funny because people do have this perception of opera just as a genre, that it's this, elitist thing that is only for a very certain demographic of people, and it's hard to understand, and it's boring, and it's no fun, and all of these things. And everybody knows that image of the overweight woman with the horns and the breastplate and the spear. That's still a lot of what people assume is opera, when these days the exact opposite is true. There are so many opera singers running around, and we look like everybody else and we act like everybody else does. And it's always really funny when I say my background is in opera to just watch people's faces kind of change. I'm like, but you look, I do. And then they kind of take a step back, and it's one of my favorite little surprises to pull.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important. That's why I want to hit that right away. I was going to ask that question because I love it in you, because you have taken something where people will see your face value and your perception. It's called bias, right? We make assumptions that, well, this person can't be that. And the part I like about you is a lot of folks get stuck by that. We let other people define who we are. Someone had shared an analogy I thought was really well. You show a $20 bill to somebody and you say, Jackson, you're not worth $20. I'm like, no, yes I am. I'm still worth $20 bill. I'm still a $20 bill. But we let folks tell us all the time who we are or who we're not. And a lot of times we fall trapped in that. Oh, I'm not performing. I'm not a top performer. Or you can't be a singer. You can't do that. We can't do that. So how did you manage that, knowing that you had to deal with that? First of all, beautiful black woman opera singer.
Mm-hmm.
That is dominant in height and size in her statue, but not in height. Like,
right.
What advice do you give young people, current people, old people to fight through those battles when you hear so much people telling you what you're not?
Ooh. So, boy, we are going to get right in it, aren't we?
Oh,
I love
yes!
this. Boy, I love these. So, it's so interesting because this is a journey that is never ending. It is the constant journey that one has to go on. And if you really, really want to do all the things that you want, you have to be willing to recognize that that is something that's going to come up, that you're constantly going to be confronted with why you're not good enough, or why you can't do something, and why something is for someone else and not you. And you have to be willing to face that and look at it and find it within yourself to say, no, that's not true. None of that is true. Yes, I am. Here's why. Here's how I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah. And I am a person who, there are more Black classical musicians now than there were a few years ago. So it's happening. The shift is happening, but it's still something that, it's a world that I did not see myself in. And so I have spent the majority of my life being in a position where everything that I was looking at and watching and listening to told me that I could not, and I should not, and I did not belong. So I have had to work very hard at creating a space for myself and being willing to be courageous enough to just take up room, take up space, and command the attention and the respect that is worthy of the art that I create.
Yes, I knew you were gonna say that because it's so important, especially now. I saw a question pop up already. See, Stephanie, we already rocking on you, man.
So here for it.
I love it, man.
I love it too.
Because like when I first met you and we at Columbia Tower, and you came, I came in there, and I'm walking over, you go with break time. I see Columbia Tower here too. I see MJ on here. MJ, you killed it, man. MJ killed it his session at Columbia Tower here a few weeks back. Yes. And I come inside, and you literally was just sitting there, like you just comfortable, and it takes a lot for someone to get to that position, and I appreciate, because it's inviting both directions. When you're that comfortable about who you are in your positioning, then everyone that comes into your space equally, hopefully some people may feel intimidated, but come in and feel equally as comfortable. So you provide that comfort when you do. And so you almost kind of set the stage. And I think folks need to understand how much them as the common denominator, how much power that they have as individuals to demand that space. And a lot of times I don't give that right to someone else. So thank you for being a symbolic of that. So that's why I want to get that up front, because it's going to be
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's going to be important as we dive into uncertainty, because I think that is happening now in this space. Let's pop this question up real quick and see what it is. I want to. You got 2 questions in here. All right. Like, I love this. Amazing. Is there a society of Black opera singers? Oh yeah, is there?
Oh yeah, there. Well, yes. So there is the. Got to see if I can get all the names right. If you look on Facebook, there are several groups that are like Black classical musicians, and the African American Art Song Alliance is another incredible one. So we're starting to join forces so we can get some work done.
That's good. Let me ask another one. Let me ask another one too. I was her vocal teacher, so I know this amazing person well. Talk about her.
Yes,
Talk about her.
Carol.
I want to hear about
where do I even start? Carol, I'm so glad you made it. So Carol is. So now I'm gonna start to cry. Carol is the reason why I'm doing what I am doing. I have been blessed with some incredible teachers and mentors, but Carol was the one who, when we met, you wouldn't have recognized me when we met. Or good gracious, it was 2020, so it was, I think, 9 years ago at this point, and I was this very like fragile, sort of delicate flower, and I spoke very softly, and I pulled my energy in all the time, and I had one lesson with Carol, and she called me out. She was like, you sound terrible. Why are you singing like that? You're a grown woman. And I was like, I was so taken aback. I was so shocked. But she helped me rebuild my voice from the ground up. And at the same time, she gave me all these tools that helped me transform into a completely different person. It was the person that I've always wanted to be, and have the skills to keep continuing that journey. Because I'm learning new things about myself every day. Right now, with all this kind of chaos going on around us, it's another time that I've had to sit down and really look at within and look at the good parts of myself and the bad, awful parts of myself that I hate, that I have hidden down, and figuring out how to wade through all of those things so I can keep functioning. So thank you, Carol. You're incredible.
That's awesome. I think with Carol, I want to speak for Carol. Carol, so make sure you comment yes or no to the statement. Carol saw you who you were. You weren't seeing it, and she's helped you see yourself.
She did, and she saw it.
Veronica,
she saw right through me.
I love Veronica. Veronica's my biggest mentor. She got me to so much. I love her, and she since day one has been exposing me on something I didn't see. So I know Carol did the same for you. So
yes.
So cool. Let me pop this question. Let me pop this question up too. Here you go. Opera singing is a powerful, moving art. Yes. How does it feel to be so powerful and move with so many people? Oh my God, that's so true. And I love the artists. My pay artists on here, singers on here. This is awesome. Oh, I see Hiawatha. Cool. So what you think?
There is nothing like it. There is really, because something happens when you get into the space where you're in. It doesn't matter what you're singing. It doesn't matter how big the room is or if there's 5 people sitting in front of you, but something happens when you allow yourself to be vulnerable and open up all of your energy and roll your energy out.
The phone call comes through.
You welcome other people into your space, and so it just creates this loop. And all of the love and the care that you're sending out with your instrument, you get it right back from the audience. And it's just, it is such an incredible experience to facilitate. It's really magical. There's no other feeling. And I have heard so many stories about people who will hear any kind of music, doesn't matter what kind, it doesn't matter what genre, where you hear something and it like unlocks a little part of you that you didn't know needed to be healed. And it's just an unbelievably powerful experience. It's such a gift. Like, I feel so fortunate to be able to be a part of it.
When you perform here at Columbia Tower, and I appreciate you having me, moderate that tag team we did, and having the ability to read a story you curated for that audience was beyond. And to your point, that opened up a lot for a lot of people that came talk to me afterwards. I'm sure it came to you too afterwards, and so continue to do that. On that breath, you mentioned a couple of key things. One, you said seeing things you didn't know you had to see, so your blind spots, and then also 2, during this time of uncertainty. Give some perspective. Break that down for folks. I saw another question mentioned too about natural progression of your career. Can you break it down from self-discovery to what's open up for you, and then to execution? I can see in your eyes you got that perspective to get outlined for this group.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the progression of an opera singer's career, there's a couple of different ways to answer that. The best answer really is there's no one path. There are many paths to take you to wherever you want to be. And the first part of it is deciding what kind of life you want to have, what kind of career you want to have, how often you want to be on the road, what kind of houses you want to sing for. Traditionally, most singers will go and get a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. I did both of those. You do some apprenticeship programs where you work with an opera company and other young singers, and you do, smaller parts and chorus roles and things like that. And then you branch out into auditions. I took a different turn. I got my master's degree, and I started discovering that I liked more than what school told me I should like. So this is where the self-discovery part of it starts to come in. I fell in love with business. And I have this whole other skill set that was helping me along and helping me, you know, run my music studio and teach private lessons efficiently and keep myself organized and be an administrative assistant. And I love those other parts of myself. So just doing only opera all the time never felt quite right. I love the art form. I love to do it, but I knew that I needed to find a way to do both things because I had more gifts that I wanted to share. I wanted to be of use to the world in a different way. And so that's the path that I found on, was the path of the, we call it the correlating career, where you sing and you also do something else. So when I'm not singing, I'm coaching people and helping people get organized and helping people unpack all of their stuff and be more productive and be more mindful and learn more about themselves so they can do whatever it is that they do at a higher level. And
how did that come about? So you're opera singer, now coach, like give me the connection pieces there. I mean, that's dope.
That was such an accident. That was an accident. Carol, you can chime in too because you saw this happen. So Carol, we would love your comments. Once I started getting really good at running my music business, people started to ask me for help. And it was people who I didn't think would need my help, but did anyway. So here's a great story. I was teaching a piano lesson to a mother and daughter, just some of my favorite people in the world. And this woman, the mom, she is brilliant. She's a neurological psychologist. She knows the brain inside and outside, forwards and backwards. And we were having a great time. And I was just telling her that I was thinking of starting to work with people and help them with organization and tools to get them out of overwhelm and these things. And she looks at me and she goes, Stephanie, I think I need your help. And I just kind of sat still and I was like, what could you possibly need my help? You're the smartest woman I know. What do you mean you need my help? And she broke it down for me in a way that changed everything. She looked at me and she said, all right, I know the brain better than just about anyone. And so I can tell you that not everyone is programmed to be a naturally organized person. I am one of those people where I need someone to sit down and teach me how to use a planner, teach me how to write a schedule, teach me all of these things so I can function, because I'm trying to open up my own practice and there's no way I'm going to do it if I'm always running behind and always feeling like a hot mess. And that opened up my eyes to a whole, speaking of possibilities, to all kinds of other possibilities.
Physical eye or the third eye? Yeah.
The third eye, you know, the third eye.
Yeah.
And I said, gosh, there really is a place for this. And this is how I can use these gifts. And this is how, just from hearing her describe it, I said, there really is a need for this. And there's so much shame that people carry around, why can't I get things done? Which is ridiculous because it's nothing to be ashamed of. You just have to figure out how to do it. Switch it up, change your system and help.
So true. Like, see, I always joke and laugh about being a Virgo and how Virgos are always so organized and anal. And so I used to get embarrassed. You know, I'll hide that fact of my side. Like I have a secret side. Well, I guess not secret no more, but secret side of planning and outline and having my detailed notes of my to-do items. Right. Yeah. You know, everywhere I go. Right. And what happens is when I stress, I get disorganized. And so I get disorganized, and when I'm stressed, I try and organize. I try and pull back together because I'm out of racket. So to your point, it's how your brain's hardwired. I mean, all of us have something. We all have components, and we all very looking bad, not looking good. We don't want someone laughing at us, and then we shut down and take action. So I agree. Wow. So how has that business been going pretty big? The consulting business, is it more referrals? If folks want to consult with you, where should they go?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm taking new clients. I'm always whipping up new fun stuff to help people. So if this sounds like something that you need help with, if you're feeling stuck, if you're disorganized, if you're overwhelmed, if you need some support with what's happening in the world right now and you aren't sure how to balance self-care and functioning and getting things done while you're getting your rest and doing your healing, hit me up, send me a DM. My website is stephanieannballconsulting.com. You can reach out to me there. I'm always happy to have a conversation and just be as helpful and give back as much as I can.
No,
So
I agree. What did Carol say? I remember that. And you know, singers, musicians, how they get in so aspects of they are.
Yep.
True.
Yes, she's right. You got to wear all the hats and do all the jobs. And you have to be able to switch in and out of so many different skill sets at the, like, just on this dime. It's incredible.
So to that point, what else has been opened up for you? What any other new projects? Anything else happening? Any writing?
Any other projects? So my book is about to drop.
What?
You want to talk about that?
You just dropped down the mic like that? You didn't tease them a little bit? Like,
I'm not. No, I'm so proud of it and I'm so excited.
talk about it a little bit.
Sure. So talk about, this is another thing. Talk about things that I never thought I would do, but you know how when you get...
Writing books, I mean, keep going.
You know how when you get like an idea that won't leave you alone, it just nags at you and nags at you and nags at you. So this was me going, maybe I'm going to write a book one day. I might write a book. I don't know. And it wouldn't leave me alone. So finally, I decided to sit down and write the book. And it became this, just a combination of the incredible stories that I've learned from my own students who teach me every day, and my clients who I'm always getting wonderful insight from, and just experiences from my journey through classical music and life. And it will be out very, very soon. So I'm super pumped. I can't wait to share it with everybody.
Oh, someone, we gotta type in the comments. We gotta pin I am Stephanie Ball is your Instagram name, right? I am Stephanie Ball.
I am Perfect. Steph A. Ball. That's me.
Type that in real quick, and I'll pin it.
Yeah, type it. Okay.
Yeah. and your website, that way people can see it. And
sure.
I'll give you a couple seconds. I got a question for you.
Okay.
But I'm noticed, and I'll pin it. Some of you said, well, I was giving away the entire book, but I definitely would love this audience get it there here and dialed in, which I appreciate. It's some great response. As you guys know, every week I've been having this series on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Seattle time, PST, to tell about three things. You know, what new possibilities will you create? What's some ready-made tools you can use today, right? And so really me open my network to my network. And so you guys have done that for me. So with that being said, you mentioned your book and things you've been getting advice on. What advice can you share or will you share about empowering those around us? What advice do you have?
Advice about empowering those around us. That has to come from, you have to be able to empower yourself first. And this is the perfect time to be doing that kind of work. Am I right? It's like we're all in a collective timeout globally. Mother Nature said, I've had it. Everybody go to your room. Think about what you've done. And I feel so strongly that the only way we're going to come out of the other side of this with the skills and the empathy and the ability to connect with each other so we can really heal the risk. Because this, I don't know about you, but this has highlighted some of the major foundational cracks we have as a country. And we won't ever fix it until we can work together and work with each other and empower each other and do it together. And that has to start from a place of being able to do it for yourself. So you can recognize it in other people. And when you can do it for yourself, then you can realize, oh, well, these are my gifts. And these are the tools that I can use to help other people best. And you can illuminate all of those other things in other people. And it's just going to start looping back around again. So get in your room, get your journal out, do your work, do your work.
You're so spot on, because folks want two things to happen. No action is the worst action, because that's the action itself. You're not taking action. And also is feeling that you have to look to someone else to solve it. And to your point, if you don't look to yourself first, we are self. We are collectively self. You're not connected. We're creating this, all of us here, the ones that are connected here now, that joined recently, we want to still join. We're all a collective self. There's no deflecting the need to someone else to take it. No, we all have to drive and jump in. And you're so spot on. And we're so stubborn in society that's why it was 8 weeks we're still in this. And on top of, you see the resistance. And the resistance will always be there. There's evil in the world. There's pain in the world. That's going to be there. That does not stop you as an individual for taking action.
Right.
And so I'm glad you said, and obviously, Steph, you got a whole bunch. You got your opera singer, your coach, write a book, you know, work with Columbia Tel. I see you on here too, regarding to having speakers, virtual sessions. I mean, you are demonstrating that. Even your content, you got your website. We got text SAB to 55678. Of course, Andre put that in there, which is true.
Thanks, Andre.
It's a true number. And at your Instagram, you're accessible, you're available, and you're connected. Hey, Karen. So thank you for that part too. What about endurance? Since I was a mouthful.
Endurance.
I heard you said endurance. I guess you agree. And and I would say, when I say endurance, it struggles along the way. It was, like you mentioned, it wasn't always beautiful, and it won't always be beautiful going forward.
Right.
What's your advice when it happens? When you hit those breakdowns? When you talk to me. Yes. You know, I know when you break down, the fall is kind of short, but no, just keep going anyway. Go ahead.
All right. So it's like, let's start with resistance. That's such a great word. That's the perfect word. Yeah. So if we talk about resistance, I think there's two sides to the concept of resistance. It's like you know you are on the right track when you don't really feel any, and you kind of hop into this flow and things are just falling in your lap and everything's working out and it's going really well. That's wonderful. That's an excellent place to be in. Yeah. But I think we have all found ourselves in positions where all of a sudden nothing is going well and everything feels like it's falling apart and it's painful and it's awful. Those are the times when resistance is working in your favor, because that means there is some work to be done, and on the other side of the work, you're about to have a big breakthrough. And it's like going to the gym. You're about to have a big breakthrough when you hit up against some major resistance that's triggering all kinds of things that you haven't felt before. And something is about to happen.
Think about that, and think about what happens when you face resistance and you don't follow through. What happens? It
just comes back. You can run and you can hide from it, but it's going to show up in another place in your life until you learn the lesson.
I want people to hear that.
Right? It's because like
go ahead. What happens is that it's what it took me a long time to learn that, because what happens is our brain, our mind, we repeat the same cycle over and over again. And we wonder why, because your mind's lazy, it's taking shortcuts. You've been here before. It doesn't mean it's the right decision. So you hit a point of resistance. You will never get the breakthrough.
That's it.
I want people to hear that. You will never get the breakthrough. You will never see it. No. People live their entire life never experiencing breakthrough because they never got past the resistance.
Yes. It's like if you go to the gym, if you just move your arm like this, your muscle is not going to grow. You have to pick up a weight and it's going to hurt a little bit. And you have to deal with the pain, and then that weight is going to be too light. So you have to pick up a heavier one and do it again.
Yes.
It's just, you just have to get used to it.
Man. I got these little skinny legs, right? So I hate leg day. And then my butt is all sore. I'm like, oh my God, I can't sit. Yeah, that's because your little weak muscles didn't do anything. You're like, you're struggling. But to get past it, I keep working, right? So I agree. So I think folks can get that message and to your point, your earlier message about self-reflecting and see what's opened up for you. A lot of cases, moments of resistance, you go to your default behavior and not build the resistance and you to escape it out of fear and you stay trapped. Talk about that a little bit too, about when folks that work at the Columbia Tower event. Can you give them a little bit of taste of what I'm talking about?
Yes. We were talking a little bit earlier about how I kind of veered off the traditional path of opera in a different way. Part of that for me was I love recitals. I love it. I just love being in a small, intimate environment where I can see people's eyes and I can see how they're reacting to the music, and I can sing these little bits of songs and take them on a journey through a whole, experience of lots of different kinds of music. And so a few years ago, I started curating concerts with lots of different types of music. We call them art songs. That's the technical term for a classical song that's written for voice and piano. Mm-hmm. And I just started making them up because this repertoire has been around for hundreds of years. So there's like tens of thousands of songs to choose from. And I love it. And I can put together any kind of program based on any theme, but I particularly love African-American music and doing concerts based on Black history, which is what we did at Columbia Tower. Because there are a lot of composers whose music does not get heard nearly enough. And it's a terrible shame because it's stunning. Mm-hmm. So that has been one of my favorite things to do. And I babbled. I totally forgot your question.
No. You spot.
Did I get it?
Yeah, but what happens? What I'll say this here, how I translate. You keep me honest. What you did, you curated the experience. So you didn't just come to us and sing like a typical. I'll say. I mean, take it back. I'll use Jesse's word. A typical concert where you just hear track after track after track. Maybe I'm not sure enough to know the story and stuff. It probably is, so forgive me if I'm messing that up. So y'all singers on here, don't yell at me. But the fact that you incorporate a narrative with it, you share that part that linked in with the music. You have people in tears. So it goes in segments. It's almost like going to a play, right? And having the play and having words and then having the music be felt. Like I felt the music. Yes. I felt the words that you were saying, not just the experience and the depth of your voice, which that is powerful. But then also I felt the words that you shared before that. So to carry that kind of experience, you had to have that third eye open. Really, essentially, you're painting a canvas. You're an artist with your voice. So I thank you for that.
And you're welcome. It's my pleasure. And that's how I got to that, was just kind of sitting and thinking, what kind of experience does the audience need right now? What kind of journey do I want to take them on? And when I chose the music, I said, how can I put this into context in a way that it will mean more to them than if I just sang them a tune? It's like, sure, there's so many beautiful songs. I can get up and sing you a song and it'll be pretty and you'll enjoy it. But if I can take that song and also teach you about the poetry and teach you about what the composer was going through when he wrote the song and attach that to something that's going on today that makes it relevant, all of a sudden this song that's 300 years old has a totally new meaning and will take you on a journey that you did not expect.
What was I know it happened probably multiple times, but maybe what's your most memorable moment when you started to do that? Someone came back to you of appreciation. What was that appreciation that you got? Do you remember? Like what kind of feedback you realized you're having an impact? I think
I've had so many.
You know your impact now, and you're. That's like I think led to your coaching, what you're doing. But what give that? Give me that story.
Let me think for a second. I think there was one moment I can't even place. I just remember how I felt. I can't remember what show it was. I just remember the essence of the exchange. So I sang a show, and it was the first time that I had tried out this particular kind of musical experience. And someone came up to me after the show and didn't talk about my voice at all. It was nothing about, oh, I love your dress. Oh, your voice is beautiful, which is always wonderful. I always love hearing things like that. I'm not going to lie. But this person, she talked all about, gosh, this was so moving. This was transformative. This song did this to me. I felt such a sense of peace. I feel more healed. When I started hearing about the experience itself, that's how I knew, okay, I got on that stage and I just became the vessel for the music to come through. and it reached the people it was supposed to reach, and that's what my job is.
Yeah, and you met, I think Veronica's on it. You met Veronica too at the last show, right? She does a lot around Wonder Woman and how impactful. I'm heavily in love. I mean, connected with them too. What she does from storytelling and helping healing for women, Black women in particular. And it's been. And I tell her it's not just women. I go there and I'm in tears and get just as much experience. And she's been my coach. To Michael's point, you're right. We can't get through resistance on our own. We definitely need a coach and support. And I have been blessed with lots of angels in my life. You know, you guys all collectively continue to strive, and she's done that to Wonder Woman. So you were sharing that just now, that curation, that experience. I would love to see, maybe one day create the possibility of having y'all two partner up, because it would be super dope to do that. So I'm putting that in the atmosphere right now. I'm not sure she's still on or not, but I think that's super cool to do. So, and yes, Andre, I pinned the text. So Andre will be on the show at 6:00. And he's has the mobile text messaging services. Steffi, tell him how we met. So we met through him, right?
Yeah, we met through Andre because I was going to come to Seattle for some other work, for a client.
Yeah,
and
about that.
It was that's right. It was yes, that was in February.
Think about
it. It was nuts. That's amazing. And it was in February. And I said, I'm going to be in Seattle in February. I can't have a February without doing a Black History show for Black History Month. And so I thought, who can help me? And I called Andre. I said, Andre, who do you know? Who can help me put this thing together? It doesn't have to be anything big or fancy. I just need to sing some tunes for some folks for my own soul. And Andre said, I know who can help. And he got a hold of you and Rick. Rick, are you here? Wave at us if you're here, Rick. And it's what has happened since then. It is a few weeks. It's one of those, like, we just let the universe take over, and it was a buckle up kind of situation. But it has been.
We never let the breakdowns take it. That is so, like, even like,
no.
We never let the breakdown shut it down, and it created this beyond. And we were part of the building blocks beyond the experience. I saw Anthony ask the question real quick too. I want to make sure and guys, make sure y'all put your questions in the question box, even the statements and comments, that way we can see it better. But do you compose your own music as well?
You know, I don't. I don't have. That is not my gift. We'll just call it that. That's not my gift. I do, however, I work with some brilliant students. I have a very small voice studio now. I have about 10 students that I work with.
Rick is here. He heard
a lot of them. Hey, Rick.
And Veronica's here. Veronica's here too. We put it to the universe. They heard us. Go ahead, guys.
See?
Yeah.
And I have a lot of students that compose their own music, and I just do my very best to coach them through that process and refer them to other composer friends that I know. So I get more joy from singing other people's stuff.
Yeah, man. And plus the fact, because I would say the creation you're doing is really feeling, dissecting the music. And then how you can tell that story to create experience. That's the art.
Right.
And obviously, the no-brainer part is your beautiful voice. I took a short clip. I remember when I first met you, and you were singing, and you came and singing at Veronica's church. And I was doing a little tape recording, like a typical fan, right? Recording you. And I'm thinking you had already got to your peak. How you call this, volume? Is that saying it right? Volume?
That's good.
Give me the appropriate. What's the appropriate say? How you say
volume's
it? Right?
Good. Okay. Volume's good. You thought I had given it all to you already.
Yeah, so I cut the clip off, and then I'm good. And then you went to this next level. I like my hair stood on my arm. I'm like, oh my! Then I was mad. I'm like, oh, hurry up! Come on! So then I made myself back up in Columbia. Like, okay, I'm ready now. Y'all think she had her time? No. So to your point, that's all. Oh, good. Got some questions in here. Let's pop them up real quick. I love it. Let's see. Oh, my sister got a question for us. I'm sure your voice sounds beautiful. Yes. And did you hear Jexi sing? Oh gosh, Karen, really?
I got called out.
so much
Call
trouble. Call me out.
You know
those
what,
who
though?
don't know.
Wait a minute, though. That's such a good point. That's
Go
a
ahead.
great point.
Go ahead.
Because it's like this. I always circle right back to this point about like knowing your gifts and knowing how to use them and knowing how to work them.
So you
It's
say
so
I have
funny.
no gift. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to say the opposite because so many people think that because they don't have a beautiful voice or something that they cannot or should not sing. And it's like, first of all, it's just a set of muscles. Anybody can learn how to work a set of muscles, right? I'm never going to play in the NBA ever. We'll come back to that. Not bad.
Oh, did you say NBA? Did you
I'm never going to. I did. Let me finish my point.
You know how easy low-hanging fruit ones here. I'm gonna really.
No, that's why I said it. I'm never gonna play in the NBA, but I can learn how to shoot a basketball better. So it's like, even if you're not, the best at something, there's a way for you to find a way to use it in a different way. With singing, it doesn't matter how beautiful your voice is. It's all about what kind of story can you tell us with it? Like if you listen to singers like Janis Joplin, who doesn't have the most beautiful voice, but is one of the best storytellers of all time, and could command the attention of a crowd tens and tens of thousands large. So
that's true.
Use what you got. Figure out how to make it work.
Because you can work your muscle all you want, but you got to have some serious spud web hops to get to that rim at your height. But I can, you know what, you hit the nail on a good point, because that is key. Because I want to dissect that for folks and not make the assumption is clear, right? One is you say where you create the possibility, and that gap can be large. So I may say I want to be an astronaut. Okay, I know what it takes to become an astronaut. It's a huge gap. I'm gonna have some serious breakdowns to get there, but it's possible, right? And then some things are things that you mentioned. Some people are just born naturally gifted. You got a voice. You have the vision. You pick things up. Some things trainable. Some things. But what I don't want to hear is, and go back to your earlier part of the conversation, is let other folks tell you what's not possible. That you disregard.
Yeah.
Right? So I know folks join on now, but I'll make sure you understand. Not someone's, especially in a singing career, acting, artists, you have so many critics telling what you can't do. And what they are doing, and I'm talking about your family, I'm talking about your parents, I'm talking about some of your coaches too. And what happens is they're inflicting their own fears on you. In most cases, it's because they care, and it's because they don't want you to get hurt. And so once you understand the position where it's coming from, you can still appreciate and love them, but understand at the end of the day, you decide and move forward, because this can block you too. You agree?
Right. I absolutely agree. It's you have to be able to look at it objectively and say, okay, this person is telling me this thing that I shouldn't do this thing because of XYZ. Where is that coming from? Is it because they feel bad that they didn't take the same kind of risk and so they don't want me to? Is it because they're afraid I'm going to get hurt? Are they saying this about me? Is there any truth to it? That's important too, because you're absolutely right. When you said the astronaut, it's like, that's a big gap. So you do have to look at it and say, okay, if these are the things that are required of me to become an astronaut, is that something that I can actually accomplish? What skills do I need to develop? What kind of work is it going to take? Is that something I'm willing to do, or do I need to find another way to accomplish a different goal in the similar vein? It's like you have to sort it all out, take the things that work, and forget the rest.
Yes. And I love how you say, and you said it consistently, is yourself, self-assessing, right? Take data points in, but yourself. And I'm referring back to your mind, put it on rinse and repeat to block yourself and have fears that block you. I'm not talking about that self. I'm talking about yourself and saying, because when you realize that possibilities are endless, and then you can still do it. To your point, it's a choice that we make that allows us to open it up for us. So I'm glad you shared that and something key. What any resources, books, materials you suggest for this folks here that you recommend? Of course, tell about your book too.
Of course, my book.
Folks on here, Yeah.
Yes, my book is coming out soon. It's called Own Your Light, by the way. I love the concept of light.
Go ahead.
Light
Go ahead.
and figuring out what your light is and finding it and having the courage to step in it and stand in it so you can inspire light to come out of other people, which comes from, you know, me being on stage. It's the thing you have to do is figure out where the light is coming from and move your body into it and get in it, which is very scary. But it's so important because if you're not in the right light, nobody can see you, right?
We just dropped the gym like that, like the 13th hour. What? Go share more about the light. I mean, that's huge. Share
Sure.
more.
Yes. So, you know, everybody has this little light of something, whether it's something they want to do, something they want to talk about, something they want to share. But back to that vulnerability point, being able to open yourself up and allow other people to view it or criticize it or experience it is something that is very scary. But it just is something that has to happen, right? Because somewhere in the world, someone needs what you have.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's spot on. Say that
somebody needs it. Someone needs what you have to give. You are the answer to someone's problem. And by you recognizing that within yourself and doing all the work that it takes, fighting through all the resistance that it takes to open yourself up and allow yourself to share it, you can step into your own light and just start to give it away.
Man, you're spot on. You go ahead.
And then it's like a matchbook. It's like you light one match on fire, touch it to the book of matches, and it all goes up. And then it's just
and to your point, by having that light shine on you, that light shining, if you may, people see it. It's attractive. So when I was talking in the beginning of this chat, how I came into Columbia Tower and saw you, I saw your light.
Yeah.
You dropping gems on people. Like, so, cause I'll say mine. I'll read my book right here. See this book just coming.
Yeah.
But I was in I was doing this mentoring circle for these finance managers at Amazon, and we're talking about the power of influence. And one thing they said, like you just mentioned, and I'm gonna read it out loud here. The world out there desperately is looking to. The world is out there desperate to make an impact that only you can make. I'm gonna say it again.
Yes.
The world out there is desperate to make an impact that only you can make. You just said that. And it's real talk. People can't. Oh, James, I use real talk. Philly. You can't make an impact. Only you can make the impact. And a lot of folks look to other folks to make the impact. And they say, hey, are we gonna have this meeting here? Are we gonna do this here? Or if you're asking that question, that probably because it's you. You're supposed to do that.
Do it.
You are the
and
person.
Can you imagine? Yes, if enough of us took on that responsibility and that initiative of creating the impact of our own, can you imagine?
Let folks sit on that. Let that sit in for you guys. Like, understand what we just said right now. Stephanie, oh my God. So any's unlocking for you right now is understand that the impact is on you. That's what we need. So I said, that's a lot of folks joining you. I say one more time, it's important. The world out there is desperate to make an impact that only you can make.
I love that. That's powerful.
Woo. One more question for you while people are thinking about that one. So NABA, here's my NABA family. So folks who don't know, NABA is National Association of Black Accountants. And one of the things which inspires me to do what we're doing here, and I'm actually going to have NABA on the show in a few weeks. So I think the whole month of June I have nonprofits join. So NABA, Africa All-Star, Love Orphanage, you name it. But our motto is lifting as we climb. And I really embrace that because as we continue to grow, we need to lift and bring us up together. And I'm trying to lift folks and throw above me. and they can then pull me up.
Yes.
So I think I said in one show with Jamie, this continuous rope that we need to pull as humans together, work together. And it can't have broken links. We have to keep continuing to pull each other up. So I shared with you and say, again, some key takeaways, the light, our impact, our responsibility. What else you got for us?
See, we're talking about mottos. My motto, I have this, it's on my website, it's on my business cards everywhere. Elevate your performance, illuminate your legacy.
Stephanie, I knew. Say it again. Go ahead.
Elevate.
You're gonna put all these
Elevate.
By the way.
I know. Elevate your performance, illuminate your legacy. And what is that even? What does that mean? It starts with you. If you get better at whatever it is that you do, that's how you turn your light on. That's how you spread it out. That's how you share it with other people and the people that come after you. So get it done. Do the work.
Love you.
Love you.
It was amazing.
This was wonderful.
Mike dropping over here. Like, wow. Wow. Thank you. So text SAB to 55678. Oh,
yes.
Pop some comments up. Oh, of course they went to the last man. Let's do it. Let's run. Oh, Mike got one. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. What you got? I would like to know, what would you most like to accomplish through your music? Go ahead. Fire.
Oh. Whew. I may have already said this. My goal with my music is to always let it reach the people that need to hear it the most. Be that in live performance, recorded performances, live streaming. We have some cool stuff coming up for the Columbia Tower Club. So please stay in touch to get all of that goodness that's coming for the month of June. But really, that's it. It's always someone needs to be awakened or healed or moved or whatever. And that is always my goal, no matter how big, how small the room is. I just want to, move some folks.
2 more. You got 1 minute left. 2 minutes. Got 2 more questions. 1 minute left. Do you recommend vocal training and exercise for people who are trying to better their public speaking craft? Go ahead. That's my man right there. That's Saeed.
Yes. That's huge, 100%, because a lot of it is about stamina. If you have technical vocal questions, get in my DMs and we'll chat. I'll help you out. It's all about making sure your space is prepared properly and you're speaking on your breath. Just breathing. Breathing in space. I got you. Hit me up.
I love it. Make sure you go to her. I am Steph A. Ball. So you can put that. Post your comments in there. What inspired you to write your book?
I was inspired to write the book. I've always wanted to write the book, but I've always been afraid to. I'm in the shadow of a brilliant writer. My sister is an incredible writer, published multiple times. She's a Black historian. So I've always loved to read, and it was just this nagging idea that I needed to get my thoughts down on paper, and I just rolled with it. I just went with it. I can already tell you that it's not going to be my only book. There will be more coming because the process was remarkable, and I have more to say.
Last one, 30 seconds. For those of us feeling inspired by your work and energy, yes, is there any advice or practical tips you could help get some traction? Make it share on your page. Share some helpful practice you could share to help get some traction on our career.
Yeah, that was a great question. And start at the end. If you look, I love the concept of working from the top down and the bottom up at the same time. So if you, Bobby, hi Jen. But if you start at the end and think about where you want to end up and how you want to finish and what you want to accomplish, then you have this vision in front of you and you can look at where you are and fill in the steps that it's going to take to get there. So that's my best advice, is to vision it out, decide how you want it to look, and then just backchain it, work backwards. Be prepared for it to not turn out how you expected. It might wind and twist a little bit, but if you have all of your tools in your toolbox, it'll be easier to change to the right one if something else pops up.
Wow. That's awesome. Stephanie, I love you. Thank you so much. Are you gonna stay tuned?
You're welcome.
Are you gonna stay tuned and engage with Andre in the next segment?
Yeah, I'll be around.
Ask tons of questions. Ask tons of questions.
Okay.
Yo, you were amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So are you. This was a blast. Thank you so much.
Oh, we got more to come. We just beginning.
I'm telling you.
Damn, we didn't tell them. Did we even tell them what we're up to? We didn't tell them.
A little bit.
Next time.
A little bit.
Next time.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that, guys. All right, we'll tell them next time. All right. Love you.
Bye.
Hello, this is Mr. Rose. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to come back every week for new podcast content. Special thanks to my daughter and her team and all their hard work putting this content together. Be engaged. Be aware. Be ready. Be heard. Thank you.